Hello there, folks. These are the hands of me, Dan Brown, from a sort of interesting life.com, and here is a random thing I was given by my friends as a gift for my birthday. It is, as the title says, a saltwater fuel cell engine car kit. So, this is just the sort of random gizmo that I randomly get given every now and then. As you may know from my videos and things, I do like just tinkering with stuff and just general bits and pieces like this. And originally I was just going to make this and it was just going to be a random novelty and all that. But when I actually opened it up for the first time and saw all of the actual bits, I thought, hang on, there might be a lot more to this than I actually think. So what we're going to do is quickly build this as a time-lapse and then go on to see whether it actually works. Within the first few minutes of starting to put this together, I realised that my hopes of doing a time-lapse were massively optimistic, as it ended up taking me over an hour to put this together. You can see here though, instead of the time-lapse, I've got a few clips that show just how many pieces there were and how fiddly and intricate a job it really was, even down to putting some of the actual gearing mechanism itself together, which, as I am a huge fan of Airfix, and I've made my fair share of model planes and tanks, and I used to be actually, even with Airfix, more into making the little model vehicles, as in land vehicles and boats even, rather than the airplanes. So this is definitely something that I enjoyed thoroughly. I'm not saying that it was in any way like a bad thing, and in fact, if anything, I was actually quite pleased. Just what a great way to spend just an hour or so in the evening with podcasts playing, just sat in your nan and granddad's empty house putting a little model like this together. So this is the final product. Now, the actual pistons in that engine looking part are meant to work, and they do, as you've seen as I've been putting this together, they do actually all spin properly on a crooked axis thing. I don't know anything about engines, sorry. But as soon as I got to this part, which was adding just a little bit of salt water into the battery part and then placing a little sheet of magnesium on top, I was absolutely amazed that it did actually work. As I was saying though, those pistons are meant to move, but I didn't do quite a good enough job at putting it all together properly. So I'm not 100% where I went wrong. I think that I did have a couple of pieces left over when I finished building it, so I might have to have a second look at that exact part of the build. But how cool would that have been to have those actually working and spinning around on a proper little, I don't know the technical term, but one of those wheeled zigzag access pole things. Anyway, there we go. As soon as that magnesium battery thing's in there, off it went. Now you can see here that it's not the world's most amazingly fast vehicle, but it does actually work, and it's the salt water reacting with the magnesium that I have, as I understand, is what creates the actual electric charge to power the motor and obviously then make it actually move. The one thing I will point out here as well is I decided not to put the actual tyre parts onto the wheels as well, because I thought firstly that they were a little bit fiddly for my liking to actually make them stick, but just looking at this and having it far more like a moon landing and that sort of thing, it just looks perfect if you ask me. Anyway, check out the link in the description to find one of these on Amazon, and feel free to check out my other videos for things completely unlike this, life on a boat, going biking, kayaking, and just generally being outdoors. Until the next time though, keep it weird car worthy, keep it boat worthy, and of course farewell.